Guys, welcome back to my stream. Time now is only 3 o'clock 33, and the date of today is 25th October 2024. We opened that live stream exactly in this minute, so nothing to worry, nothing to worry about, like 50 seconds time lapse, and and we my we're gonna start to prepare a little bit, but I hardly get into mode. But we can also choose another one, like directly start. Um, so I've been woke up by some dream states, like in my hometown's second phono, second second home, that is linked with several tina, like interception and you can ignore the faculty office building, and that's really boring, and don't need to take into consideration into the uh, uh, like dream state that those kind of existed building will not trigger any imagination and emotion. So there were generous no dream state at all at that uh, at that dolphin building. So and link with CCTV, actually the reason is once some time ago, and once I still living in before 2021, I guess, in Vorheim, a student apartment which are controlled by um, Studentenwerk, so to say, the university's upsides control unit. So to somehow, yeah. And then afterwards, in my middle school, and number four, and it's very difficult to explain, but I don't really think that they need the explanation about this kind of connection. And the reason is yeah, professor once lift me up, and I feel like that great, but the problem is only based on when we are not in a very high conscious state, and the mind could embody it in every other scene. For example, in that time, like June or July 2021, I guess I met another student neighbor, and she came from Georgia, and that was a country near Mittelmeer. Not Mittelmeer, it's near Schwarz Sea, Black Sea. So I was in that time thinking about this problem, and then afterwards CCTV came again, and to compare with German uh, mainstream major media and text the first television program, and that is very much shares a lot of differences. So so that is a little bit complicated, and then I just choose to ignore the CCTV, because even they all every day host news at around 8 o'clock, but I somehow feel like their conscious law and uh, couldn't have the same quality as the median here in Germany, and so that I just ignored actually. But I should not, and or I should, but don't put that in the surface round, so there will have no conflicts actually, and that's why yeah, I feel like my macroeconomic analysis professoring possess me so strongly, and like through their way using the sexual origin and to possess it using the front eyes area, and really hate that feeling even at its monetary cost. I hope soon gonna end this relationship like within the 4 months. After 5 months, I hope she's not possessing me anymore after this exam be well finished, and then she has no reason to. But anyway, we back to the topic, like like to um yeah, like to thinking this way. And they woke me up, and one is yeah, is there are two students, yeah, actually they're sharing the PS, so to say, the Stella professors subconsciousness, and dark blue, and a lot of conference eco conferences and so on. Most is from some rich research institute like Info and Zapier and Fox and etc. And so to say, Germany does have some poor economic research institute like the IV with some light color like Weizenbaum Institute, and some traditional economic research institute like VCP and etc. So by this tool, and I feel like so suffered, um, and they recycle one single mind like in for in that student apartment, uh, which I lived previously, lived before, and I really don't want to recycle my mind like in my conscious in that way, but I've been forced somehow into that dream state, and woke up, um, feel like very uncomfortable, and like uh, yeah. So I decided to directly into the content and study. Um, yeah. Yeah, because they asked me whether they recycled me. The reason is that I have not read the readings from international trade, migration, and health. Uh, yeah, and they asking me because of the pre doctor position at Harvard University, and they know the detail, and etc. Even yesterday, I choose the original way. Actually, when I around the faculty business and economics, and I choose the old way to have a big circle around along my Euro road, and so that could be no problem. But they still accessing my deep eyes and to see what I see, and etc. I do not share this kind of privacy, but yeah. And they ask me whether you feel good if you don't read, and etc. If they already read and saw the slides and etc. I don't, because usually I read very fast, and those kind of words does not make much sense for me. In most cases, and my words does have value, and they will buy my words. So even that is unpublished, and so I am not worried that the equivalent words will spend me so much time, and I'm not in that situation, so I don't worry about that. And then I woke up and thought I should eat something, and using a new tellers. Taylor only one. Taylor that I cannot say that because that is 127 in that student apartment previous, and yeah, I'll be re-bring into this kind of dream state because she I don't like from Albanian and always because in their reality they couldn't reach the same thinking level as others. That's why they most time they will generate some dark blue energy field, and those kind of energy fields in the brain area like will trigger those kind of 322 who gonna protect them and etc. That's why those actually in reality is the 弱势群体, so that usually they must cope 322 in order to let them to fight for them or fight for them back to another. So yeah, this is very complicated. So from my point of view, I don't need like I'm a light green, so I usually do myself do by myself. I don't mean a sex, but I mean that if I want to fight back, I will use my own energy to fight back instead of waiting for like Alex make have for academics and etc. Those kind of thing. But also, Eva, we're gonna recently I cannot find that point like my high points and somehow be driven away, and that's made me cannot find the equal point like the triggering point of me because they have the new Marco professor, and she changed something in DeepMind because she can know the whole information in the whole picture in the whole um whole backgrounds about all students, and that's why I don't like her. So to be honest, because it's too pretty and to put the blue colored slides on there, and it is like the fan uni. It is like a digital uni, like in Hagen and so on, and those kind of slides style. And yeah, then I checked the Formula E and to see when is their competition, but until like July they stopped, and I don't know the reason and which my favorable to drivers that is Nick, this Cassidy and Devaris, and they don't continue the session and until September I guess, but since Cassidy already changed the team, so I'm not very sure about whether Cassidy which from England will continue and continue which kind of style because the team already changed like GT racing and instead of the in racing is actually like Russian and Ukraine and those and this Jaguar and it's a little bit like and I'm not so much familiar with otherwise it's SO like OS and but they are also not so 所以我们现在就是so we're gonna back to the content directly and directly start and don't without thinking about anything, and which I found very interesting because the JFK professor recommended literature is very 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 different than the faculty because I hardly get into the faculty's atmosphere, and the reason is since so many years the professor there still don't recognize my Chinese study and Chinese university and Chinese college in that time. So I always use the external resources to study, and at faculty somehow it's like even you spend so much money and everything to listen to them and so on, but they still they still every time taking off you from the college point and to give to their Chinese students. Yeah, and which satisfy their criterion, and I don't know which I don't care about that much. And so one thing is very interesting, like the Scots coming home, that is Stefan. Because Steph bungalow. Yeah, it's bungalow actually, but he the Professor Stella doesn't directly mean that is the bungalow instead of from my point of view is Stefan. Uh, and so that is somehow interesting because even they share the same name, for example, and they don't, they are not same one. I wondered actually in my life, like since recently, and who is actually who is who have the same name and except me, and like I hardly think of which one and still shares the same name, or not share the same name, but similar name, or to say the exactly the same name. So this one wrote a book like cause inference, and which the cassette is on the surface. So I wanted and directly find the formula E and to see whether that is the same one. But they actually they actually differs, and that one. Um, that bungalow actually is was the Harvard University professor like in eco area and computer science and etc. And currently in the Northwest. And we linked since last year March or April, February. And the reason is I guess link low is better. So that I find okay, it's very much like the Fatiao. So Fatiao is I have not read that, but I somehow know was that somehow about, and Fatiao so very much similar like this book, and the title is the mix type. So 混合的类型。Okay, well, we're gonna go back to Blackboard and find some find the readings for today actually, and and yeah, they only have those kind of high valued picking up journal and etc. Even I also about the Royal Economic Society, and since long time I haven't seen this journal because it's not very important like B and um, the Royal Economic Society, and to see what kind of recent publication they have. Uh, because yeah, I don't feel like very comfortable with my intimacy part, like some others are possessing, and those kind of feeling really sucks. Um, yeah, I will say that, and a little slow. Mm, yeah. since this journal is a little bit commercialized, and reason I don't want to check it very frequently recent. The, re- the reason is one, for example, like the article which we put out can be determined by some physical goods, for example, and it become a little bit more or less lowering the attitude and those kind of feelings. So I don't like when they converge, but sometimes it works, and only is the only way which link the academic money creating world into reality, and that is only way actually. But if you are pure research, you don't you won't like this. You won't like this buying action to influence the journal publication, etc. Even that is only under €5, etc. So latest articles, public good superstars lab in the field study of Wikipedia. Um, ding, 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 ding. OK，我们直接开。Well, sorry, but I cannot sleep now, and yeah, I feel like frustrating, and those kind of article, even that is very high, be picked up, like like the test of the Professor Stella is really high, and but still that you don't know you don't know now the time it's actually the sleep time, and I feel like physically tired but solely very bad. I could read them, and I can also explain them in some extent. Um, I find it so interesting because this week I submitted my this week or last week. This week I submitted my uh, seminar title that is in the behavior experimental economics, and I chose to discontinuity, and then I finally found actually this reading absolutely exists before when I submitted the title of behavior welfare economics, and I don't know at this current time point whether they belong to the same major area, but I guess it will be nothing wrong. But it's a little bit like discriminated perspective, but I don't think so. And like I can already find several articles, like 12 articles, 8 to 12 articles in journal, and to say that their poverty does have genes expression or genes regulation, and etc. have has real impact real effect on the real 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 effect on poverty actually, and like some guilty feeling and about some activities and etc. And as well discontinuity and some genetic issue, and you I can even search more, and I find it's relevant and it's good, and but I should not best on the another course article instead of should find my by my own, and yeah. And this one is Peter Egger, and which really yesterday I want to go to the lecture about Peter Han, Professor Han, and capital market theory as well. And it is a little bit pressure because otherwise they will first see and learn to remember and to output and to and to give the information out. But this one, like me, will directly perceiving the information, and I feel like it's somehow an efficient way, um, uh, which the mind linkage is more trustworthy than you first see in your reality and remember and to put them in a paper or in a media format. Um, yeah, so yeah, that's why they don't want to stop me, and they think that actually this kind of habits can cultivate. Uh, and the reason is that if you, for example, like interrupt and you intervene and you will take some action to stop this kind of direct perceiving of the context in it, but most of them can actually, but it's also not very difficult, and but I still I yeah, okay, let's just read. And since I read a common native language, I directly think that should be the German, and then Quebec, this word directly come into my mind, and afterwards I thought a little bit that also can be Chinese, like the Jinanyang's hometown, and which language Jinyang always say, and that's much more interesting. And to back to the topic, if there are any questions, for example, um, like uh, like like the title which I self named absolutely still need be not modified afterwards when the professor introduced us have time, and then uh, uh, mm, there are already several articles actually, but since um, since the name Americanization and only has one even from A level, and I contributed so long time, like 1.5 year in 1 year, 1.5 year, like many 1.5 year in my life. That like I can only give get one, and even I give the word Americanization, and they can only give one article outside. It's really somehow unusual. And the reason is that it's only the problem whether you discriminate other students in when they talk when they say their name in English, and that's not a very well thought actually. But it doesn't bothers me, and if she used LMU like certificate, and upon that Albanian like some online course certificate, and to pretend and whether she gonna have a certificate in the use that in order to hinder my graduation um, uh, before this year, and then that would be a big problem, and like the at least three professors already committed to give some rewards to someone which based on the history which use our binding classmates LMU online course certificate, so that even not work in MOOC. So that's much more interesting and funny to discuss with, isn't? So yeah, that's a cool aspect, and I can write it. So in my seminar, right? So with a yak with a with a short router, so to say. That's more funny and interesting, and even in AEA, I contributed so long time. Like like only since this year, and so long time, so many months, and they only give me one article, single article from AEA, like Americanization, and it seems like my channel was be banned. So yeah, but in order to make everyone equal, but how can like everyone's equal and everyone's not equal, but you can create some conditions, make someone and everyone feels like equal, but is actually not equal. And interesting because the Switzerland converges into again, and it's not just using highlight like this time they use a big word like Switzerland, and they have the Niederdeutsch, they have the Niederdeutsch, and that's why in the first sentence which they think that is that could not be Chinese. But if you only read the first sentence, you will think that directly linked to Jingdanyang, but actually it's Switzerland. So Switzerland does have many languages. For example, like French, German, Rubish. I don't know that area like the upon side of Switzerland, which is Römisch. I don't know, but Schweizerdeutsch sounds a little bit raw. But actually, Switzerland is a high. And today is very interesting because when I back home, I said, "Oh my God, and no, my oil will be cut it, and I must prepare after my graduation in bachelor directly go to Switzerland." So yeah, Switzerland is actually a high wealth country, and average income and the happiness of the whole nation was very high. And they have a good manner, and they are all currency. That's why the higher currency value is, and they difficult to change with others, and they hold their value very fixed. And so yeah, and then yeah. So we continue read, and whether there is something interesting, I will speak to you guys. And I couldn't agree on this transaction level imports. The reason is from my point of view it's wrong, and one aspect is that I don't allow any commercialized or commercial or some transaction progress happening. If it is from the contract of view, like for my current living place, for my current accommodation for current time period, and and yeah, like from neighboring countries using Uber and etc. And the last sentence of this abstract is somehow quite questionable, and the effect and the effort just converges together, because the UCH does have their working paper series, and once they publish many times, but many times they many times about the effort, how to quantify its effort, and it is like studying effects and the learning process, and how study experiment and learning process, study process, and etc. And uh, I don't know why they are measurement about of the effort, which is very difficult to quantify, very very adjust with my point of view, and that's why I always remember this kind of when we link together. Like last last at least 3 years we come back. We always I always follow the Schweitzer eco team, and one side is that I spend more, and that's why when you spend a little bit high and the Switzerland gonna come to you, and the reason is they know they all have the high value, and in their currency, yeah, in our currency. That's why, and the effect and the effort just cannot very easily be overcome. Mm. Yeah, and extensive intensive marginal trade 我就不 explain 了。The reason is actually the labor is very different than trade. OK，我们想一下，可能这个文章里面可能有一些关于呃 extensive 和 intensive margin 的一些解释，所以我现在我就不在这里看了。我看到我迅速的略读一下，因为好像还有很多篇文章，然后我大概 pick 几个我觉得比较感兴趣的，就是有趣的点，然后分享给大家，其他我就这样略读一下就好了。如果从我的角度来说的话，其实这里面全部都是问题。我也不知道，因为这些都是可以被解释，因为这个课它最后不是一个那个就是一个 cloud 做嘛，一个 70% 的一个 cloud 做，然后其实我不是很担心，我有几次我有 hundred percentage call，大概有两三次我 100%在 ET 它那个 drop 差里面，然后所以我自己想，其实的话应该是一个 PE 的一个就是一个体育课成绩吧，就是当时在那个 college 的时候，所以我也觉得还好。然后另外一个是，这个文章一开始的时候就说的是 two week wage extend，其实就是学校里面 F，比如说他比较倾向于选择，就是考题的时候他都会用程度这个词，然后就是说，嗯，就是说到底是多少的一个程度，to which extent, how far is far, and in 他不会，they will not asking some explicit method, and they will not asking you to give the name and to say several name series and to just remember the facts and to actually put the facts into the examination paper, and they will asking you, and even in bachelor level they will asking you to which extent, how far is that far, how healthy is health, how those kind of questions which were difficult to be answered, and that's why always. So I guess this article also be chosen because the reason that satisfies the examination purpose. That's why. So yeah, from my point of view, it's not very difficult to understand. The reason is common native language actually is CNN. So it is a media platform, and uh, and recently, exactly this year, actually, 2024, the Nobel Prize of economics, economic science, that using one sentence with the icon citation to say that affects prosperity, and which affects you use very wrong actually, and it is one expansion of aspects, and aspects was a terminology. Once won a Nobel Prize before last year, I cannot remember, and it is the Max Planck Institute, which in physics or some other major area, and so yeah, if it is only one single word like affects and aspects, perspective, and etc. Yeah, I can find it, I guess. I just directly find that one. Aspects is atom seconds or not? So aspects aspect yeah, it's two alien aspects. 2022 is 2 years ago almost, and I always thought that is no alien aspect. Seems very different. Seems very different. I always remember that that is forensic. So yeah, and in physics, with John F. Close. That's why Professor Yang has directly mentioned Schleuse. And one sent a photo competition in this year, and yeah, Schleuse, yeah, small insects, and Anton Tellinger is actually the vision center around the city center in Berlin, and um, Anton is yeah, Tellinger is the Vanessa's vision center is yeah, which you can 扩大你的视网膜，然后把你的视网膜扩大之后，然后就是拍一个照片还是什么？yeah，嗯，OK, that is 2022 and before last year. So 我们回到这篇文章，然后继续看一下。写的就挺高级的，然后完全出乎我的意料，反正就是挺高级的，但是背后的 content 又很 low。呃，所以就是不知道 pertinent 什么意思，然后昨天睡着的时候不知道怎么入睡的，然后结果 pertinent 他们continent，然后用这个马油，然后反正就是进入了我的思想比较有深。天呐，不会吧？这个 corresponding author 是 ET 哈的，我的天呐！天呐，老三man Griffiths，我的天！Swiss Federal Customer Administration，还有 Statistical Office So, and there are several questions like to 还有一个Switzerland language some simple question, which is honestly to find out the answer because no one gonna ask that in the exam and no one gonna say tell tell us about 4 languages which use in Switzerland, which sounds more rural. And we're not asking this kind of question, but expression of common culture affecting international trade. I don't think that's really. And the first question and the second one is around the 3 pertinent topics in economics. Why is the consumption so much biased towards domestic goods? No answer. And why are imports so much bias towards similar countries? 我还没有想。Import so much bias, towards similar countries because they offer because how can I explain that? Like why I import so much bias towards similar countries? Because they all share the if the countries share a common culture or they have a similar background, so they getting easier to make transaction with each other. So that's the reason I guess why importance so much bias, yeah, or bias is so very different actually towards a similar country because they have too high replace ratio. And yeah, so that is an old question which repeated at least like like 2.5 times in my in this semester already. And um, which actually from my point of view like imports like um like if the country shares a lot of similarities and the imports get easier, but since they share similarities, so that is not very surprising, like to see to buy some thing that you already see several times, and that's not good, not as a good compensation. So you don't need buy big because you already have, and from this point of view you can also expand. Another question is what is the economic value of common culture? um like credit points. And the article it identifies the impact of CNL on transaction level trading or Unicode setting based on history and geography of native language use in multi-lending and lending different impacts of different margins. Fine, we're gonna um so to say, it is this article based on the common language, so I better not to select frequent because otherwise I will directly using the yeah, okay, cool. So you mean you can also write those kind of articles? You can directly perceiving what they are saying actually. Yeah, I think so. The overall quantitative effect and even channel of influence of a common language on trade are well studied in empirical international economics. So that's corresponding author. I have not seen the author because the name was too similar, like the um, Professor Peter Han, Professor Han, and Andrea Löffler. Professor is yeah, is as well. But yeah, okay, okay, cool. Yeah, okay, cool. And the corresponding author is directly coming from MTE, what, ECOF, or what, is a formal institute, and is not HES, is not HES. HES is easier because it's yeah. So and the footnotes of the first page is is like half ein Drittel. 崩口你，克劳迪亚崩口你，那就赶紧准备吧，就赶紧准备 bachelor 毕业，然后赶紧 go to Switzerland. And yes, yeah, for sure. Yeah, yesterday in the Pacific race, in yeah, and 嗯嗯嗯，乌采尔、伯尔尼，然后还有买房 Big Sun，然后其实就是 Brick Sun，然后其实就是那个 Apple Store 附近的，然后那个 HSC for Market Study and Special Ed certificate. So heavily, but university has the income rate development bank. What is that? It's on causal analysis in international trade，这就是 causality 的 heterosubacy university 啊，这个有点搞笑。International Trade Seminar University Salzburg, the Peking University international relations professor want to activate dictate expected academia 科学考察，然后还有 13th international trade finance meeting at Paris One University in Innsbruck. First question is of 6 million. Oops, Fed and Rogoff. 啊也 OK fine. Wow. 天呐 about 2001. Like Juan is 1 years old. One year old. 然后我的天，我不敢相信。There's some difference which I don't believe in. Yeah. Okay, I shouldn't say that like my private priority, and then private property. I would not say that, but looks so feels strange. And the last question is that her opinion and the preferences of economic outcomes for a survey like monkey survey. 你知道，嗯，呃，就你把网连一下能行？为什么这么复杂？我的天呐！Go to Hao and ask equal service，其实actually a lot of from behavior perspective, I will say don't ask equal service and don't bring a computer once you cannot even not set up like you at your room, and that's so simple, and why just asking, and that's will not uh, yeah not very beneficial, like things that make sense. And yeah, 我不知道明天要读哪个，我现在就是阅读一下，然后关于一些版图啊这样，然后从老外来流露看，以后然后 interesting 有点像那个就是a little bit like 呃 Schwarzmeer Black Sea in that areas, yeah, but it is not above instead of in a Unterrhein side. Um, so. And it's very complicated. We directly go to the conclusion. Each suite's special unit within a certain distance bracket to the left and the right of a of the of a Swiss language border can be considered up to 3 times once as a treated observation and up to twice um, depending on considered distance window around language borders as control observation are the little bit difficult to understand. Uh, this is because unit G in I don't know why since this semester and the social surrounding me starting judge and previously I got this like for almost 2 years so dirty like this and no one judges like the one who get used to in a like mind run in the academic field. They will not consider this kind of sticker whether that is sober or not sober. They only focus on whether your mind is sober or not sober, and they don't care about what the things actually you use. But the software does have a different effect. Yeah. Yeah, I don't understand that much. Like right of the speech language border can be considered up to 3 times, and better not to understand. And this is because a unit used in the German speaking part of the Jason to the French speaking part of is considered a trade import from the German speaking foreign language, but as untreated, we control with imports from French speaking or Italian foreign. Yeah. Oh, difficult to understand. Mm. Uh, Given the choice of certain distance window around language borders, only units which are within the respective window of two different languages will show up twice in the area. So, from a current time point, I don't. Yeah. One is we have once a French uh, neighbor lived in room 5 near me, and another one is we got a thumbprinter and combined together with another French. Uh, yeah, so triple, and I don't know why because the for example like that French person is very different than that one we in from cooperated with in many years ago. And I don't know why this kind of two combination finally um, made the factors combine to the success factor to exmatically given a choice of a certain distance window around language models these have main results. Uh, One thing I cannot tolerate is that when the content was put in the academic literature or some slides which they are don't tell but like students to do something like will implicit afterwards showing the foil that's really embarrassing for example like like the leg and it's an yeah that's a little bit embarrassing for me like it's okay because I already get used to this kind of judgment. Yeah. 那你可能不能去一提 hello 的天呐，然后这篇文章瞬间就让我 back to 2015 that time，然后一个大 然后这里就是有一个哦。A Pharmaco professor's view is that the first point in 435, that is why you better go to the Austria, and the second one is engage in retailing and create a business about the light. And the faculty suggests that it is to say that you can rely on your YouTube channel, and after when you have a lot of fans, and to sell some videos, content, yeah, advertisement, like yeah. Because you guys run out your self consciousness, so that I feel tired again. You must reset your bad conscious into where some 我的天，我的天，wear some wear some fancy clothes and to put that in dream state. 天呐，好难啊！Real Brigla 外面了，那 angriest。Yeah. Magnitude is a beautiful aspect, and which this strategy wants directly efforts. So to say, like Jindan Yang and directly start study at around 2 to 3 o'clock, but say like I'm late for 2 hours. So you just wake up, cannot sleep, just study and don't really think much. And the effect here is effort. So it is not effect and it is not E and A. So if it is not E and A, they will write that in upon and below style, like you don't need to put that in. It is wrong because EA and E is wrong, so that is effort. EO is right. And yeah, cool. Oh, this is interesting. Conclusions say that speaking at central New York language matters for extensive margins rather than intensive margins of trade. Mm, Actually, Professor Steiner was once suggesting to have the external margin instead of the intensive. It is like sometimes when I think that in course instructions that which most courses is in the extensive margin way. It is like every week 4 hours to 6 hours instead of like 刀削面课程 like from Professor Hamlipko, and then then hit this semester or last year as well, before last year, and autoregressive vector autoregressive uh, yeah, it's very difficult, but after finish the course you can have a very fancy style of, yeah. And then um, uh, but actually I prefer the intensive margin, like of IMA and finish, and but it's the extensive much more attractive and be suggested by Professor Steiner. So um, he means extensive is better than intensive. From my point of view, like the efforts quantifiable, and I prefer more the intensive, because from the labor generation, I will not say that labor generation, but it is like labor efforts and the labor you put in your work, and it's which are very difficult to quantify and but can aggregate it of, like in this sense you could sufficiently support my point of view. So that's why I much more like you could, and but they are trying to convince to say that intensive is also as well good. But my question will be that intensive margin and extensive about the labor, and whether that they can apply to the trade. I'm not sure, because the labor and it is like that trade is two-sided. Not two-sided. It's at least you must have two trade partners, and you must at least have one trade partner, so you can enable this trade to happen. So uh, and important for differentiated goods categories rather than homogeneous products. So the home ownership and the home production, they all say about this kind of homogeneous products and differentiated goods categories, and it's for me like not very important. Uh, the reasons is it products itself doesn't matter actually, and the good categories. So to say, the homogeneous products is the causes, which 2 to 3 causes will count for. Will consist one module, and like the good categories which have like Studienaufbau ABC. So if it is the cost transformation like Studienaufbau ABC, and what I gonna choose, like light differs among transaction size classes in assumptions across the industry. Industry is the institute in faculty, and it's and differs among transaction size classes, but transaction size classes is never mean the Shadowell cube, so it's not Shadowell cube, it's QS, and light differs among transaction size classes. That would be very interesting, because they don't give me the full information, but they know the detail. They can even restore that that page. But here I have a question about transaction size classes, and if, for example, like in a sense, they're asking some EKP's problem, like how how the classes size, and whether and that would be very interesting. But will not suit in this content. The reason is that they are talking about Studienaufbau, exactly the VWL and the BBL and FU, and they will not they will not consider any transaction side classes. So that's a little bit confusing. Um, mm, yeah, better not. So this is a problem, like transaction size classes, and then with citizens quite the mm, mm, mm. Not very clearly. Uh, mm, OK，确实还挺难的，我的天呐。OK guys，我们现在要睡会儿觉了，因为我感觉我有点困。然后这个文章有点复杂，但是我敢确定，然后这个文章里面最后的 conclusion 里面提到的 CNL 和 CSL 绝对不是 CLQV 他们说的任何一个他们的这种被邀请来参观房子，就参观他们的那个房子的任何一个人。然后他们好像我觉得他们在努力的就是把自己的意义，然后就是怎么说呢，就是把自己的意义定义到就是这个文章里面，就是 copy into article，but they actually not that part. And so in this context, I'm not sure what they are mean because I absolutely don't want to be that CSL, and I don't think that Agnevish or our bunny classmate is the CNL because it is not. I'm not the CS. She's not the CN. So the position could reverse in the atlas. They say that if, for example, like she almost finished, and I should feel like numbers and in this kind of things to compete in these. I don't think that's really matters. And but I don't know why the class size matters. Like the monetary cost that is like 80, 50 students, and the size expression increasing is that similar like from similar like of Stephanie Stancheva, and that is 大马烤肉 actually. And so I don't think the exponential goals is so justified. But I quit that course. The reason is I don't like any female except except me. So in a sense, yeah, why is that matters? It doesn't matter actually. Like when you transform the course and the course belong to different categories, there are two ABC. There are three categories like ABC, and exactly like the billing transportation system, which be designed like the inner area is A and etc. But why the course size does matter? So if it's come to recent problems like the finance versus Politik Ausgabenverstellung and if it is the Platzbeschränkungsveranstaltung, like you have a limited students number in to participate in a seminar, so you must consider of how many that should be and etc. Then that really matters. But otherwise, while the class size matters, and yeah, that's very interesting. And come to intensive and extensive margin, I personally I really don't think that uh this yeah. Cool, guys. We're gonna close the side live stream. I need to sleep a little bit more, and so I hope I will not get into some dark dream state, and I will not converge others. So, and I want to save my own, and yeah, yeah. Let's look at okay. Last conclusion, and it is it is among transaction size classes, um, and differentiated good categories. So transaction size and substantially so cross industries. It seems to be more important for differentiated rather than homogeneous products. Mm, for me, like if the two costs very similar and like 12 credit points, and if they easy to make like a non-mandatory, and you should better first do the three courses, and otherwise, yeah. Okay, we're gonna close the study live stream and hope you guys click more my videos. And we got a new Taylor new ta- new pants. Yeah. So see you guys. Bye. Yeah, we should wait a little bit because every time when I stop, that one wants to my hometowns mono 一下的。然后 today we still gonna see the yeah, transaction class size. How much goods or how yeah. Okay, guys.